So I'm just going to go over how to do the regression again, just in case you need help with that. You may not, but just in case. So to do the regression, you go to regression linear, and I've already put, I think the PCI variable was interesting to us. And in the first block, I added all of the code variables that we created. So these 7 variables here, they're in block 1. Normally you would start block 1 with control variables. I can't think of any right now that from the demographic variables, but if you can think of any, that would normally be block 1. Like age, although in our case these are all university students, probably about the same age, so I'm not sure that matters. And also I think we're going to split the file on participant gender once you have enough participants, so that wouldn't be a control variable. Anyway, so block 1 is the codes, block 2 is the entitlement variable, and block 3 are all of our interaction terms. And I click paste just for it to show up in the syntax window. And so I select execute, play, and now we have some regression results. So we'll go first to the model summary, and the model summary tells us for each block, so we had 3 blocks, block 1, block 2, block 3. Every time we add a block, this model summary tells us whether or not the R-squared explained variance increased. And actually I might not have shown you when you're doing your regression linear, to get the increased R-squared, you actually have to go into statistics and make sure this R-squared change box is clicked here. So this tells us our first block, 45.5% of the variance in PCI scores were explained by the variables in block 1, which was our codes. So what group you're in explained 45.6% of the variance in your PCI score. This tells us block 2, this is not significant. So it tells us that adding entitlement didn't explain more on its own above the group that you were in block 1. So there's no change in the explained R-squared. The third line, this is significant, and it tells us that, so you can see that R-squared went up here, that there was a significant increase in the explained variance for PCI scores because of adding the interaction terms in block 3. So we go down to our coefficients in block 3, and we can see which of the codes were significant. So if you were in group 2, so a male with low competence, low warmth, compared to the reference group, which is the male high competence, high warmth, people who, so the males low competence, low warmth, have a lower PCI score, which makes sense, compared to the males with high competence, high warmth. So their PCI score goes down by 1.59 if you're in the male low competence, low warmth group. The next one is significant. So this one says, oops, sorry about that. If for the female prof, low competence, low warmth, their PCI score went down, negative, down 1.534 compared to the reference group, which was the males, high competence, high warmth. Then the next one that's significant is here. So compared to the reference group, males, low competence, high warmth, their PCI score went down by 1.203. And similar for females, low competence, high warmth, their PCI score went down 1.386 compared to the males, high competence, high warmth. So then we want to go and see which of the interaction terms are significant. So the females, low competence, low warmth, as entitlement scores increase, their PCI scores decrease. So every 1 unit increase in entitlement, so if you go from 3 to 4 on the entitlement scale, the PCI score will go down by 0.484. So that's almost half a point on the PCI scale, so it's not nothing. Then the next one that's significant, males, low competence, high warmth. So again, it's negative. So what that means is as entitlement goes up, PCI scores go down. And so if you increase entitlement by 1 unit, then PCI scores will go down by 0.317. So again, like if you were going from 3 to 4 on the entitlement scale, the PCI score would go down the 0.312. So what does all that mean? So we have females, low competence, low warmth. Their PCI scores go down as entitlement goes up. And we have males, low competence, high warmth. Their PCI scores go down as entitlement goes up. So I'm hoping that makes some sense to you based on the papers that you've been reading.